Today we're covering 7th grade, Chapter 10, Lesson 2, Personal and Family Budgets. A budget is just a plan for spending. It's made up of expenses, which is just spending. So a family budget is a family's plan for how they're going to spend their money. In this example, we're to identify the components of the Martin family budget. The components are the different sections of the circle, like there's housing, and there's food, clothing, and entertainment, transportation, that would be like their car note, college savings, retirement, gasoline, utilities, which is electric bill or the water bill or the gas bill, emergency savings, and last but certainly not least, taxes. And then it asks us to calculate the percent of her budget for college savings. So to get the percent, we need to find the total of everything they're spending. So if you add up all of these amounts, they come to $6,200. That is the Martin family monthly budget for $6,200. And college savings is $558 of that. So we need to simplify that fraction to a percent, or you can just divide, remember man, horse. So that comes to 0.09, and as a percent, that's 9%, because you have to move the decimal 2 spaces. 9% is for college savings. Next example. If the Martin family decides to put 1/4 of the retirement towards housing fund instead, what is the new monthly housing fund expense? So if they ask you to find 1/4 of the 558, because 558 was the retirement, of still means to multiply, and you probably want to change for 1/4 to a decimal, so that's 0.25. And you get $139.50. And they want to add that to the housing allowance. And the housing allowance was $1,302. So if we add $139.50 to that, they now can spend $1,441.50 for housing. Let's look at some additional examples. So here is Anna's monthly budget. And question down here asks, if Anna needed to reduce her monthly budget, which expenses would most likely be easier to adjust? So out of these things in her budget, which ones could she change easily? Well, this is probably set by her. She decides how much she's going to be saving. But a car payment is kind of set by the bank. You can't just decide to tell the bank, nope, I would prefer to pay $100 a month. Doesn't work that way. The cell phone bill, you could cancel your phone and change it, but pretty much if you're going to have a phone, it's a set amount. And you could possibly change the clothing amount. She could spend less money on clothes. She could also go on a diet and spend less money on food. And I'm not sure what other is, but that could probably be adjusted as well. So clothing, food, and college savings are things that she could change if she needed to reduce her monthly budget. These are called variable expenses. Variable are expenses that can change each month. So if we look at some of the examples you're supposed to do, the first one is identify 2 variable expenses. So out of these, find 2 that are variables, 2 that would change every month. Number 2 says determine the total. 3 says what percent of the budget is for college savings. So you're going to have to add all those up. And then find the college savings and change that to a percent. And remember, we do that by dividing and then moving the decimal 2 spaces. And number 4 is very similar. What percent of the total budget is for food? And number 5, if each parent worked 160 hours during the month and each earned $18 per hour, would their income be less than, equal to, or greater than their budget expenses? So 160 hours per hour means times 18. When you multiply that out, is it less than, equal to, or greater than what we found as the total expense?